Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Your host, the Raven, here, bringing you some Path of Exile action. This is Merciless difficulty. We're going to the second floor of Lunaris Temple, and we're going to fight Piety. Very awesome. This is, I've never been. This is brand new to me. I've fought Piety, and I've done this temple before on the lower difficulties, but never on Merciless, which is at the moment is the highest level of difficulty that the game offers. It's during the Ascendancy update, so there is new content after you beat Piety and Dominus and her crew, which is amazing. But right now we're here now with at the moment of the game that we're here where we are. So anyway, I would like to take a couple seconds to go over my play style. I know there's lots of build sites and forums and YouTube videos, to show you these awesome like kill everything in one hit builds and builds that just chew through all the content like super easy. But that's not my style. My style, I enjoy going and learning as I go, learning what works, what doesn't work, gain experience from trying different spells, trying different moves and ways to teleport and refining my technique, what's comfortable for me, and also encourage everyone else, to do that too. There's nothing wrong with the build site or, looking on, for, hints, tips, suggestions. And even, some everybody has their level of mastery of the game. If you find it too difficult and the skill tree too daunting, I mean, check out information. There's nothing wrong with that. But I just find it personally more rewarding to go through the content, building my character from scratch and experience, and being satisfied with victory. So anyway, let's get started. We're here in the temple. This is probably the worst place for any human being to wind up, especially as a victim. I'm going to go over my powers real quick. The blue light you see around my feet in a circle is called Discipline. Gives me increased energy shield. The green hexagon around my feet is a Curse. It curses enemies. It makes them less likely to hit me, less likely to do critical strikes, and if they do hit me, it does less damage. Period. And if they do hit me with a critical strike, it does less critical strike damage. So very good curse aura. Works on any enemy that gets within close within range, they get cursed. Every time you see that light green like halo show up above an enemy's head, it means they're cursed by my curse aura or whatever. Which is, I like the fact that you can use it as an aura instead of manually casting it, because you can manually cast a curse, but to me it just adds a lot of work, having to curse the enemies before you fight them. And plus, sometimes you might have to run, or some other situation you might not have time to stand around and aim a curse. So it's good to just have it out, period, working on the guys. What I'm using now, those lightning orbs. The spell's called Lightning Ball. Basically shoots orbs of lightning in a straight line wherever you aim it. The orbs pass through enemies, dealing multiple strikes of lightning damage as each orb passes. And with the frequency and like the togetherness of the orbs, like their proximity, it's very possible to hit the same enemy with multiple, like have multiple lightning orbs striking the guy at once, multiplying damage and things like that. So very good. It's my main offensive power. I'm also using Spell Totem. That's that blue totem you see me putting up that looks like a statue or whatever. It casts Storm Call, and I like the Spell Totem because it's physical. It acts as a physical entity. It aggroes enemies and bosses, and because it's like a physical, like stone statue or whatever, it blocks. It can physically block pathways. You see, I'm on like these narrow bridges, with these blood waterfalls everywhere. I can put a totem in the way between me and the enemies, and I'll physically restrict their movement, keep them from getting to me. And what it does is it lays runes, lightning runes on the ground, multiple ones, at once. And when after a certain amount of period, lightning strikes all the runes and they all explode. And multiple runes in the same spot, especially on an enemy that's standing still or a boss that's standing still, like they do huge amounts of damage. Find it extremely useful And also, since the bosses and enemies aggro against the totem, it's good for running away. I can blade that totem to, get his ass kicked while I run off on, tight situations. The lightning orbs, I forgot to mention, they do have I've added knockback to them, which is good. Keeps bosses and groups from rushing me. Um, I use lightning teleport, um, and so do these enemies which I'm fighting. Lightning teleport, it does do damage. I have crushed some enemies before, and I've crushed some enemies with it in this run. But it's not for offense. It's mostly for movement, getting out of tight spots because you can be surrounded by enemies. The enemies have physical mass. You can't just run through them like ghosts. And sometimes if you're pinned in or surrounded, that lightning teleport really saves your butt. But there's tons of movement skills in the game, so do what suits your fancy. And look how nasty the place is. Like I just had to show, like all the blood and guts, filling up that pool. My final ability is Frost Wave, what I'm using now against those blood globule dudes. I mean, it's a wave of frost. It freezes them. It's good for if you're surrounded. Enemies who are chilled attack slower and they move slower. Enemies who are frozen don't attack at all. And if they were about to do a spell or technique, it interrupts and stops that technique. So great for pinch situations or when you're just or you want there's a bunch of guys around you at once. You just want to kill them, quickly. And since it's an AOE, I don't have to aim it. I just have to, I just spam it. So very cool moves. I really enjoy them. I find them very useful. There is, as you can see, that monster is on fire. My Frost Wave, ironically, does set creatures on fire, creatures and enemies on fire. It has a chance. It does fire damage as well as cold, and it has a, in fire always has a chance to ignite a creature or a monster. Even if it's a very small chance. I think it's all status ailments from elemental status ailments start off at a basic 5%. So if you do lightning lightning ability or ice ability or fire, it has a chance to shock, freeze, or ignite. And there's modifiers and there's skill gems and equipment things you can use to boost those chances. Makes it really good. I mean, the amount of detail you can put into a character, the freedom of choice you have when making a build, regardless of your class. I mean, all the classes, I'm playing Templar, all the classes start in a certain area, and they have things that are easier or more convenient, for a player to use, which is great for people who are new to the game or they have a hard time understanding the skill tree, which is massive. It's a gigantic skill tree, so much detail. And each move has not only is a name, there's a little story to it. If it does something special, like the Keystone passive, all have special quotes or commentaries. And there's another dude laid out, just blood guts everywhere. So it's just really crazy. But if you're having difficulty, there's things that benefit that are closer to you, but with time and effort and knowledge and experience, you can find ways to travel around the skill tree, dip into other classes, get some of their abilities and stuff like that. Whatever suits your fancy. It just goes great. Such so much freedom. It's not like they shoehorn you into a class. Like you can be a ranger and cast magic, or look at that guy trapped in that blood pool. Like he's in a terrible situation. All the blood and bodies and guts. They're like, wow. But you can be a ranger and shoot magic. You could be a melee guy, a warrior, and shoot magic. You could be a witch and do physical. I mean, there's wand attacks. I mean, it's just amazing, and it makes the great gameplay great. Another thing I like about the game is the fact that all these monsters that I'm fighting, all of them have a reason and a purpose, like why they're there. They're not just we need a bunch of monsters to fill up this dungeon. And look at this dude. There's another drowning guy. It's not like we just need, here's a dungeon. It's full of monsters. Go clear or fight it. These guys, like the soldier I just killed, that soldier guy, those guys that throw the spikes, that shoot the spikes, like the soldiers are part of uh, Piety's army, or Dominus's army or whatever. The blood, the spike throwing guys and the whip guys, they're miscreations of experiments, from the villains of the game. And like every land, every dungeon or map, the enemies are there for a reason. And either they were wildlife that got mutated or corrupted, or they're human victims of the evil doers, or they're victims of the victims. Like they create monstrosities. The monstrosities kill other people, and they become zombies. Like the whole land is cursed. If kind of like The Walking Dead. If you die, you get up as a zombie or some kind of twisted creation or whatever. Unless you're like totally burnt up, like you're just like your body's like incinerated or something. Like there's no way. There's no physical substance to use to even come back. Like stuff like that. But or it's a mechanical creation. Like everything has a story. Like most action RPGs, it's like, here's area B is full of crazies, go clear or whatever. And there's nothing wrong with that. The name of the genre is action RPG, not story RPG. But having great action is I mean, it's essential, but having a great story is just like that icing on the cake that makes it really good. So all these bodies, everything has a story. And I highly encourage you to check it out. So in my opinion, the voice acting is top notch. There's some characters you hate because of the way they act or their attitudes or whatever, but they're still like the person who voiced them did an amazing job. Very excellent. They can be a little bit long-winded sometimes, because you go to a town or a sanctuary or home village, and there's multiple NPCs, and they, depending on what's going on in the story or what quest you're on, they have different things to say, and that can be, it can, to me, it can get, if you take, take it into measure, because sometimes, I mean, if you allow it, they can talk your ear off. But everybody has their own tolerances or whatever. Like me, I can like listen to two or three things, especially if they're short. Some things are really short. They just say like a couple sentences or a sentence. That's okay. There's some people that they can just marathon, like they get to the new area or town, and they listen to every single NPC and every single story that person has to tell, like right in a row. And if you can do that, man, major props to you. And then there's some people that they don't even know what the hell is going on in Path to Exile. They just know go here, kill this, and there's nothing wrong with that either. I mean, it makes the game fun, the gameplay. And so yeah, the spike throwing guys are probably the worst enemies there. But I got the drop on them by teleporting behind them, which I like that move. It's mostly for escapes, but every now and then you can do something really cool. It does do damage when you land, so you can crush enemies by simply teleporting onto them and smashing them. And there's tons of skill mods and things you can do that increase area of effect or whatever. There's so much versatility. In fact, there's so much versatility that the one problem that can come up if you're not experienced is the fact that you have so many choices. Like other games are simple. Like you either put points on this or you don't. You either get this, you either shoot magic or you don't. You either use melee or you don't. Here though in Path of Exile, there's tons of versatility, tons of great ways to play. So that's another reason why I encourage people to just play their own build. I mean, there's nothing, like I say, nothing wrong with looking up a site or looking up information. The wiki, the Path of Exile wiki is amazing. Like everything if you have a question, like what does this do? What does that do? Does this affect this? Does this skill or ability affect that or this? And they cover it really well. I mean, and it's not just text. Like, oh, this is the name of the ability. Here's all this big ass paragraph and row of text about what it does and what it don't do. There's pictures of the item, or there's pictures of the skill being used. So you can not just read about it, but you can see it and get an understanding. Okay, this is what it looks like. Especially if it's a skill. Like, what does it look like when I activate it? You might not want to use it. You don't think the spell looks cool enough or it's not effective. But the wiki is really good. Uh, it's just it's great. They so much detail. This made an awesome game, and that's why I'm playing it. Obviously, I'm making videos about it, so of course I'm a fan of it. We're getting near the home stretch. We're near the end. There's not too much
You there. Let me
enemies
bend your
left
ear for a minute.
in here, and I'm enjoying the fact that my gems are leveling up really fast because the skill gems leveling up equals power too. You get skill points to add to your tree, but leveling up the appropriate gems, leveling up gems that match your skill and match your style, it just makes you that much stronger and that much better of a player, and your character more versatile. So if you die a lot, you won't have fun with the game. So it it benefits you to practice and be patient and not be reckless, especially with this difficulty. This is Merciless. If you die in Merciless, you lose 10% experience towards the next level. So if you're at 99% experience, and you get killed, you'll be dropped back down to 89% experience toward the next level. So you have to gain 11%, you know, more experience, to get to the next level. So it doesn't pay to not know what you're doing, and it pays to, know your build, really well, so you won't experience that because it hurts. I mean, it's happened. There's times where I've screwed up, like I mean, literally, I just made a mistake. I wasn't doing the right move at the right time, or I took too much risk and got killed. And then there's times where I felt like I've been cheesed, but that's pretty rare. Some of the bosses, especially the bosses in the Vol corrupted areas, they have extreme abilities. Like they can be invisible or semi-invisible. They can they can have smoke. They can have smoke coming out of them at all times. So if if they blind you if they're near you, which luckily for me, spells don't rely on accuracy. They always hit unless it's PvP and they have chance to block spells or whatever. But I think the enemies and bosses can't dodge spells at all. They can have super high resistance to different spells or abilities, but they can't just outright not get hit or whatever. I mean, you can. I mean, you know what I mean. There's no dodge spell or whatever, so you can physically miss. Like if you shoot a lightning orb in the wrong direction. I mean, obviously, if the boss is on one side of the room and you shoot it on the other side, away from the boss, it's not going to hit him. But if it connects, it connects. So just aim it and it rocks. So, but yeah, there's plenty of things you can do, plenty of ways to progress or whatever. It just makes it really awesome. And these blood guys got a little bit of resistance to them. There's regular enemies which names are in white. Magical enemies are in blue or turquoise. I don't know that color. Rare is you just see it's like a gold. It's like a red bar encased in like a gold yellow casing. And there's also unique enemies, plus the ball bosses, which have extreme, just crazy abilities or whatever. They're very dangerous. I would say all the times I've died in Merciless, it was due to either a rogue exile or a ball enhanced monster at the end of a corrupted area. Because their abilities are extreme. They can clone themselves. They can do, especially the rogue exiles. They can do a lot of the moves that the players use quite often. Some of the more popular builds are use multi strike and this and that, so they can mow you down with a hail of projectiles or just have extreme physical ability or whatever. So you have to be careful, but that makes it fun. As I said earlier in the video, in the intro of the video, I don't want to play to where it's at the point where you're bored, because every single map or room or dungeon or quest you do, you just kill everything in one or two hits and move on. It's like the game really thins out if you do that. I mean, my personal opinion, and some people, they love it. They wouldn't have it any other way, like just insta killing, insta giving all the creatures or whatever, so that's cool. I mean, everybody to each his own, and that's what Path of Exile is about. Just kicking monster ass, and be having a comfortable, cool way of gameplay that you like. And one quick note I'll touch on: any monster you see with a green halo on its head is being cursed or whatever. I think I might have said that. I was just looking at these bloody guys or whatever. And, they get the halo, and just it doesn't hurt to go over it again just in case, because somebody might want to skip to the end towards the piety fight or something, and they won't know, like, well, what's that green effect, swirl on monsters' heads? Well, that's what it is. They're cursed. If they're near me and they're not curse immune, they get cursed, and it's a good curse, so very effective. And we're almost to the end. Well, a couple of more baddies and areas, little spots to go to before we reach piety, which she is difficult. I found her very difficult, but well, not very difficult. Like she hasn't killed me. Like this is the first time I fought her, and I won this fight. But there's a couple of times where I almost died, and because her, especially her ice form, where she shoots the bow and the ice arrows, that does a lot of damage. Like man, she's the most dangerous there. But anyway, the fight's beginning, so I'm gonna be quiet during this part so you can enjoy it.
Your conviction drives you, heretic. But have you thought what it might drive others to do in return? Nightmare will save us!
All right, there she goes. Very
Damn
awesome
you.
fight. Almost died a couple of times. Very crazy. Anyway, I'm your host, Raven. Hope you
Rest while
enjoyed the
you
video.
can,
Don't
mistress
forget
of
to like,
suffering.
comment, subscribe,
Judgment
and
will
have a
not
great
go
day.
easy on you.